like to personally welcome you to 2016 Concorde. Now that we have begun judging, we would like to request that all entrants please remove all of your personal items as well as your cleaning supplies from the middle of the fairway. Larry Levin, car 259. Please return to your car immediately.
It's wonderful that you drove it across country.
Yeah.
We've driven ours across country.
We bought the car about 8 years ago, and at that time it had 150,000 miles on it. And
A little rough.
it was a little rough, so we redid the interior and just been slowly working on it, and now we think it looks pretty good for a car with 250,000 miles on it.
Absolutely. Very good.
Okay. You've done a lot of parades? Have you showed a lot?
No, this is the first time.
Okay.
And this is our third parade that we've come to, but we've never showed it.
Okay. Very good.
This will be an
Well, welcome to Concord.
We are so glad you are here.
Very good. Well, we're going to take just 1 minute and walk around and look at the car.
Friends in the back seat of their Macan, man, he was moving out. I was like, this is nice.
Oh, it moves really
I could
well.
live with this thing every day.
We took it to the tail of the dragon.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
The 928 is a lot like an American. If you were raised with American muscle cars, it's a front engine V8. So it reminds me a lot of the old Camaros and Mustangs and that genre of car. But it's German engineered, so it's very well put together, very well designed. It is more modern than those cars, of course. It's good for a long distance drive, and she's very comfortable in it. It's one of the few cars we've ever had that she falls asleep when we get on the road. So.
And even though it's a very large car, it doesn't drive big, and it's actually quite agile. I've autocrossed it at the Hershey Parade, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, and like I'm sitting there in air conditioning with horsepower to spare, and everybody else is very hot. So it's just a wonderful car.
Very versatile, yes. We have a local club in Columbus called the Buckeye Land Sharks, and we have about 55 or 60 members, all of which are enthusiastic motorheads that like to work on their own cars.
Been judged enough times that I know what my weak points are, what my strong points are. And hopefully my weak points aren't on their list.
Not too much drunk, and just idling and moving slow. It's just sort of mellow.
I think it was an innovative car, way ahead of its time. I think it was something that is appreciated by people who know those cars, and much more advanced than people give it credit for, and you know, very fine GT car.
You think you'd ever own one yourself?
I almost bought one actually a number of years ago. Probably should have, because it was a very nice S4 version.
And actually I work more on it than drive it, so try to keep it clean as much as I can. I really love it. It was a dream car for me back then. Still is actually. The look, the design, it's still a nice car. It still looks like a modern car, I think as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't look like a car that was designed back in the 70s. it's a real nice car to drive too. It's comfortable, well equipped. Can drive it for hours and hours and hours. I go to Frenzy each year to meet you guys, and I love the 12-hour drive going down there and up to my place. It's a real pleasure, a real pleasure.
You know, when you have a Porsche sports car, you really need to have a go somewhere car, a touring car. And if you like this new sedans, God bless you. But if you really want a sports car that you can tour with, this has to be the one. And I believe that there aren't enough of them out there, especially the GTS, that it's going to be a good investment in the future. And look at it. I mean, it's a work of art. I'm in the market for one, and I would be looking for a driver, not something to put away. So it would have been nice to drive up here from Vermont, to Vermont from Rhode Island in one of these.
What? Not the right one.
Oh. It's not the right one. It's a wrong one.
That's why they took 0.7 points off.
Maybe.
That antenna is off of a Saab, 2004 Saab.
We are going to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the introduction of the 924 with a water-cooled Porsche presentation featuring Prescott Kelly and Dieter Landenberger.
Actually, we're going to talk about all the water-cooled cars here. So we'll do 924s, 944s, 951s, 968s, 928s, probably in about that order, because our favorite car is at the end of the 928 row. Porsche owners are hidebound. Those of us who were in 356s in the early and mid-60s were slow to adopt the 911. 911 owners were very slow to adopt these cars, unlike the 44s, which introduced a new price point and had a real performance advantage in some ways, not top speed, not some other aspects, but very, very drivable and introduced at a hellaciously low price in '83. So we were buying somewhat outmoded, outdated 911s instead of the new Grand Touring 928. And Porsche read the tea leaves and said, well, our customers want 911s. They don't really want 928s. Out of that whole thing a little earlier, before the sales really got going strong, the family fired Furman from the job, basically over the 928 design issues. Because they invested so much money in developing the car, of course, they brought it out. I remember those days really well, and although I'm very slow to adopt new technology, I can remember that we all referred to this as the Buick Riviera of Germany. Some people said it's the Ford Thunderbird of Germany. But that was the common association in the late 70s that those of us who were 911 people had for this car. It was a Buick or a Ford. It wasn't a Porsche. That stigma stuck with the car throughout its life with most of the 911 purists, which was not unlike it happened initially with the 911 among 356ers. I can remember in 1970 saying in public that the Porsche club's going to hell. There are more 911s on the field than there are 356s, and those guys don't even know which lid to open to find the motor. Of course, then I bought one, realized what a fabulous car it was, and I quit talking dirty.
Porsche 928 was built between 1977 and 1995. Today, when we have a product cycle of 7 years, this seems to be impossible. But typically for Porsche, this was an evolution. So in 1979, Porsche introduced the 928S, 300 horsepower. This was the same power output a 911 Turbo 3.3 had. So Porsche had two top models in the market. In 1986, 928S4, then the GT, especially like this one with a stick shift, a really fast car. In 1987, when the BMW M5 came out, the German car magazine invited the car makers to bring their sports cars to see who is the fastest on the Nürburgring. And BMW had big hopes that it would be the fastest car. Mercedes was sending the 450 SL with the famous racing driver Klaus Ludwig. And Porsche just took a normal stock car, and there was one guy from the testing department, Günther Steckhönig. He was asked to drive it, and with 10 seconds he was faster than the other cars. This was a big sensation and pretty bad for BMW because this should be the highlight of their stand at the Frankfurt Motor Show. So 928 GT with stick shifts, this would be my favorite. And in 1991 the 928 GTS was introduced. 5.4 liters, 350 horsepower, and I think it's a perfect Gran Turismo if you're in Germany, if you can drive it on the Autobahn and you want to drive a long distance with a high speed. It's still one of the best cars you can have, and now these cars are getting collector's items, which is really good because it's, as Prescott said, they're very difficult to maintain. If you really want to have a 928, it's much easier to have a 911, so every time I see one of these cars on the streets, I'm very happy.
Kim, you've done a lot of these cars. What do you view as a sweet spot? Somebody looking to buy a used 928, where are the sweet spots in the value curve?
So, my actual advice, I spent 50 years as the 928 tech guy, so, I actually felt that the 85s were kind of the beginning of a big sweet spot. We got a 5-liter 4-valve engine when Europe did not. So in fact, the gray market went back to Europe for a change. And we got a Bosch alternator, they upgraded the synchros and the manual transmission. They did a lot of wonderful things. And that, really made that car pretty stout, and I think the reliability got very solid by it. There are so many cars at every price range now for 928. It's all condition. And I kind of go, but I think the 85s and newer cars have had a lot of the factory continuous improvement, which is so Porsche in its nature to do. And of course the S4s have the upgraded body that people find attractive. Nothing wrong with it.
Well, obviously I feel really good. It was a lot of fun, and all that work finally paid off. So yeah, I feel great.
AMC Pacer, I thought that was a really cute car. I really did.